Lord Josh here. Welcome back to the Kongming playlist. This is my first Zhuge Liang Three Kingdoms video of 2021. Operation Feather Fan is still underway. The goal of this series is to explore the mythology and history of Kongming and to raise his popularity levels throughout the Western world. I do that by creating groundbreaking documentaries on his life, his military tactics, his inventions, his quotes, and of course his Taoist magic. One aspect that needs to be explored a little more are the politics. What kind of politician and leader was Zhuge Liang, and how can we categorize his type of leadership? Let's take a closer look. Zhuge Liang is best known for his many famous military campaigns, but he was also an extremely gifted administrator, diplomat, logistics officer, and prime minister. He is regarded to be the most accomplished strategist of his time. Kongming liked to compare himself with the sage minister Guanzong. He also attached great importance to the works of Shen Buhai and Hon Fei. Kongming was a rather unique blend of political leadership with three main key ingredients: a Confucian-oriented legalist, but with very clear Taoist undertones. To understand this a little better, we need to examine each system. Confucian ethics are centered around virtue and morality, the cultivation of goodness in a society, harmonious relationships, believing that man by nature is a social being and progress can only be made by the state when people are full of virtue. Confucianism, also known as Ruism, also believes that people are inherently good by nature, and a Confucian state seeks to create a morally organized world. Confucius, or Master Kong himself, believed that political order has to be established on social order. If the social aspects weren't right, then nothing could be achieved. Human behavior is a major part of Ruism thought. Tradition is a massive aspect as well, having regard for the ancient ways. A quote by Confucius himself on this subject: "From the Son of Heaven down to the mass of the people, all must consider the cultivation of the person the root of everything besides." Self-cultivation, being the best that you can be, to encourage others around you to be better, which in the end results in an overall better society or state. So the people are the main focus here. Ruism's systems of ethics are also very interesting. It consists of three key qualities: Zhen, roughly translating to humaneness; Yi, righteousness; and Li, ceremony and etiquette. A huge factor to these principles is benevolence, compassion, family, charity, and love. A state that is actively trying to bring out the best in everyone, no matter if you're the son of heaven, in other words the emperor, or you're the son of a peasant living off the land. Everything needs to be in balance, top to bottom. You have famous Chinese concepts like filial piety. In basic terms, it is respect for one's elders, parents, and ancestors, which is why in some areas of China, old parents won't be put into care homes. The sons and daughters will look after their parents throughout their old age. If you don't do this, you are shamed. Filial piety also means to engage in good conduct outside of the home. Zhuge Liang talks about the relationship aspect of governance, saying, "Opportunistic relationships can hardly be kept constant. The acquaintance of honorable people, even at a distance, does not add flowers in times of warmth and does not change its leaves in times of cold. It continues unfading through the four seasons, becomes increasingly stable as it passes through ease and danger." So we can clearly see Kongming was a well-rounded Confucianist, but he wasn't just that. He's a Confucian-oriented legalist. Ruism is a great system, but on its own, it may be a bit too lenient to rule a state. There has to be an element of power, authority, and strength for effective leadership. Legalism is in many ways the yin to Ruism's yang. It deals with the human condition and human behavior, but it believes that people are inherently evil, selfish, and self-centered, and by nature they do wicked things. It believes that the only reason why most people don't commit acts of wickedness is down to strict laws and strong punishments that await them if they decide to act out. So legalism will say, why don't you kill your enemy? Obviously you hate them for whatever reason, but you won't take action because of the law, not because of compassion or kindness. This system will punish you for your impulses. Legalism is authoritarian. Its power comes from the state, characterized by its strict laws and severe punishments. It believes that social harmony is not typically found in virtue, but in obedience to the state. Zhuge Liang says, good generals select intelligent officers, thoughtful advisors, and brave subordinates. They oversee their troops like a fierce tiger with wings. Although legalism sounds brutal and harsh, which it is to a large extent, it can be, it does serve a purpose, especially in times of war, unrest, and chaos, where military law must be upheld. Legalism came out of an era where wars and strife were plentiful, so the mindset at the time was bleak. People saw the worst in each other. Remember when I said Kongming liked the works of Shen Buhai? Well, Shen was a very famous legalist who some even consider to be the founder of legalism. Kongming knew that legalism on its own would be too harsh, so he tied it perfectly with Ruism. I like to use this analogy. Ruism on its own is too sweet, legalism on its own is too bitter. Mix them both together, take the best from each one, and you end up with the perfect flavor. That's what Kongming did as a leader. You end up with the best of both worlds. Within the kingdom of Shu, Kongming established firm but fair laws. So the firmness came from legalism, the fairness and humaneness from Ruism. If you want to lead effectively, then you need to have both equally. He refused to indulge the local elites, so this shows that Kongming was not the type of leader to let rich nobles get away with trouble just because of their high status. He treated everyone equally. This is one of the reasons why shrines were created in his honor by local people. When was the last time your leader had a shrine dedicated to him or her? These days, leaders are not loved because they lack both the firmness and the fairness of someone like Kongming. Lastly, I want to take a look at the spiritual aspects of Kongming's leadership, his Taoist qualities. This is where so many leaders, kings, emperors fall short. They are brilliant with administration and warfare, but when it comes to seeing beyond the physical, they can't do it. It is so important for any leader to have a connection to nature. Kongming was a man who very much valued and understood the concept of balance. One of his most famous quotes that I use all the time in my Taoist presentations on magic is this: first organize the inner, then organize the outer. First organize the great, then organize the small. First organize yourself, and then organize others. This quote sounds quite similar to the famous quote by the founder of Taoism, Lao Tzu, who said, "Mastering others is strength, mastering yourself is true power." Both very Taoist-like quotes. Zhuge Liang also lived as a reclusive hermit before entering into service with Liu Bei. Many Taoists of old lived such lifestyles, tucked away in nature in the mountains and forests, quietly observing the world from afar. Living so close to the natural world creates a connection between man and the universe, and this changes a person. It makes you realize we are all connected as one. A leader that has this mindset is much less likely to be a tyrant because they aren't motivated by the lower level base desires like rank, power, money, fame. Something higher drives them. They have an inner purity to their character. They aren't selfish or petty, and for that reason people regard them as benevolent. Taoism makes a person a humane leader. So in conclusion, 3 very different schools of thought that when mixed together create the perfect recipe for the perfect leader. That's my analysis of Kongming's leadership. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you're welcome to disagree if you want to. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you soon. Take care.